Hi, my name is Jacqueline Rose, and this is a video journal about my life in the ascension process. I do not think it's a mistake that you're here. I think you're meant to be here. So if you resonate with me or this message, click and subscribe to my station. Check out some more videos of mine. My intentions here are just to share the things that I have realized in my life. And if you start going through this as well, or desire to go through this so you can change your life, my intentions are just to share my techniques. So maybe it will help you. Anyway, so I was thinking about relationships and patterns, picking up patterns. So I realized patterns in my life. So I saw destructive relationships as I was younger. And you know, my mom probably picked up this pattern too as well. And I just saw where it was always destructive and that people were always fighting. I remember when I was very young, like my mom getting out of the car and storming off, and there was always fights, and there was always, like, I just saw destruction in relationships. And as much as I knew, I was like, I don't want that. I remember being younger, I was like really gravitated to really like 50s movies, like really like wholesome stuff. And I when I was younger, and I just remember being like, I want a life like that, because it seemed so perfect in those movies back in the 50s. The girls were so pretty, and there was mom and dad and all that, and I wanted a life like that. And so I basically told myself I didn't want that, and made sure that I did steps that I wouldn't have that. But subconsciously, since I was so young, that's all I saw. And I saw that a lot of the men in my mother's life or my life, they loved them, but they weren't very reliable. And so I saw that too in men. And so I had this stamp about guys. And even when I would get boyfriends that were really nice to me, I would find something wrong with them because they were too nice to me, because I wasn't used to seeing that subconsciously. Like, I would be like, they're kind of boring. You know, like, why did I want destruction? Why did I want drama? Why did I put myself in that? It's all I saw. I remember being a teenager and picking up on a pattern that my mom was doing with her relationships. And I forget the pattern. I think it was like me finding something wrong, or me not going after the good guys, always going after the bad guys. I was like 17 when I picked up this pattern. Not that I changed it, I just picked it up. And no, I met my husband at 19, so I pretty much tried to change it after that. But I just remember being like, oh, I don't want to do what she's doing. Obviously that's not working. I'm very one of, like, somebody tells me like a lesson they're learning, I want to know about the lesson. Tell me about the story. What did you learn from it? Because I don't want to make those mistakes all the time. I make enough mistakes. I can try to avoid some of those motherfuckers, right? And so I want everybody to understand that you take this print that from your childhood, even though you don't want to become that print, you subconsciously, your brain recorded this thing and made you feel a certain way about yourself, and made you feel certain ways about other things that you're not even aware of. It takes a lot of deep thought to really think, this is what I think of men, this is what I think of relationships, and then go, oh shit, I did stuff to actually, like, there was lots of great guys that I pushed away. Like, lots of nice guys that I pushed away because they weren't, like, interesting enough. I needed a little, and I didn't know that I was doing that, but subconsciously I was. And so you just have to pick up those patterns, because you're taking them on, whether you know it or not. Once you start to understand the psychology of the brain, it's interesting to me, especially since I've been going to therapy and kind of learning about it, and then learning a ton on my own, and you learn about energy, then you can, like, pick up on these patterns. And you know, I listened to a guy today, and he said to himself that he realized that he had a lot of negative self-talk, and I didn't think I did. But now I'm thinking of stories of, like, one time I went to a trainer, and I was like, oh, I get on the scale and the alarms go off. Why would I talk to myself like that? Why would I wouldn't say that to anybody else, or I would make fun of myself a lot to make it humorous, but it was negative self-talk. You don't even realize that you're doing it, and you don't realize that you picked up these patterns. But anyways, I was dancing around. I get an idea about relationships, and so maybe you can pick up patterns that you have. This is when you take responsibility. Oh, I didn't want anybody to ever cheat on me. Like, I would have never asked for that. I'm speaking like I'm somebody else because my husband didn't cheat on me. Luckily, thank you God for answering that prayer, because I'd have fucking gone ape shit. But but I think I threatened him enough to scare him to never even thinking he could do that. But you think to yourself like, oh, I would never want somebody to cheat on me, blah blah blah. But subconsciously, you chose somebody or that would make you repeat the same pattern. You don't even realize that you did. And then it ended up actually happening because you always thought it would happen, right? Because you have energy that you put out and thoughts that you think that you don't even know about. If that makes sense. I'm trying to make sense to people because I can see that like people are intrigued by what I'm saying, but sometimes they don't always comprehend everything. And that's when I was really looking into this at first. It took a while for me to comprehend. So I'm explaining it in different ways and maybe you'll relate to it. But I hope you have a beautiful day. Holler for a motherfucking dollar. Peace.